Oh, cooking. So they throw me in the kitchen all the time. Oh, you can hear me. Which one? I did. I did. Police Captain John Wickham.
Honor to pray tonight. Thought it was for me.
Yeah.
Let's pray tonight. Lord, we honor you tonight. Thank you for our great city. Thank you for what you're doing in our city, what you've done in the past, and Lord, I think of the future. It's so bright. We pray your blessings on this evening. I pray wisdom for every city council member tonight, for the staff that's here. And Lord, we honor you and say thank you. As we think about Jesus, we celebrate Christmas only a short few days away. I just pray, God, that you're covering over this place and every decision that's made tonight for your glory and honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, will you present the agenda and any revisions thereto?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tonight, there are no revisions to the agenda this evening. However, I would like to note for those participating remotely, our video is not working. However, a full video will be uploaded tomorrow to the city's website, and we are sorry for any inconvenience.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. At this time, any conflicts of interest from my fellow council members? None? None. Then we'll move on to public comments. Madam Clerk, is there any request to speak?
We have no general public comments at this time.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
If I might receive an email from Deborah Jones, she would like it read into the record regarding her absence.
So do I need to read that?
Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's fine. Go ahead.
It says, please be advised, I just informed our wonderful city clerk, Jennifer Thompson, that I will be absent for this evening's council meeting. My decision to forego tonight's meeting did not come easily, but in the end, the health of those around me must be my highest priority. I hope you will understand. I prepared a very brief statement to explain my absence to our community. While I am incredibly disappointed to miss tonight's city council meeting, my recent COVID exposure necessitates that I prioritize the health of those around me. Though I have tested Though I haven't tested positive and my symptoms are mild, I believe erring on the side of caution is the right decision. Rest assured, I'm staying informed on all agenda items and remain fully committed to my duties. My warmest wishes to the council, staff, and our community for a Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year. I look forward to returning soon and continuing to serve our city with dedication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're gonna close the public comment. Now go back to start our public hearings. Number one, site plan with environmental exceptions, zone change from a C2 general commercial to an IDP industrial park district for a wholesale facility on the northwest corner of Dos Palmas and Park Avenue. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. This item is brought after having, actually been deliberated at the planning commission level, and the planning commission has, chosen to approve this item with a unanimous, 4-0 vote. And effectively, it brings forward this item as a public hearing item. The reason why you as the council are visiting this item has more to do with the zone change. Had it not involved a zone change, certainly within the purview and the authority to have the planning commission deliberate and decide these kinds of matters. But largely because it does involve a zone change from C2 commercial to an IPD, which is an industrial park district type designation, that's effectively why the item is here. The project does involve the ultimate construction of a 26,850 square foot facility, as you mentioned, right there at the northwest corner of Dos Palmas and Park Avenue. Site information is laid out through the staff report. The envisioned occupant of this facility is an entity called Desert Star Wholesale. The author on this item is your city planner, Mr. Scott Webb. He's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council conduct a public hearing, receive public testimony, and take the following actions. Find the site plan portion of the project categorically exempt under section 15332 of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, entitled Infill Development Projects, and the zone change portion of the project exempt under CEQA section 15061B3, and introduce ordinance number 2447 for adoption and first reading by title only for the zone change portion of case number PLAN 22-00027, and waive further reading in full of ordinance number 2447 and adopt resolution number 23-099 approving the site plan portion of case number PLAN 22-00027.
Wow. Thank you, ma'am. At this point, technical questions from the council members. Mr. Harriman,
I have none.
Mrs. Irving,
No questions, thank you.
and I have none. At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody wishing to speak?
Yes, we have Tom Stino, the applicant's representative.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Dino.
Tom Stino. I'm the architect in the project and the representative for the clients on these here. They got a little business in town right here in Victorville, and they plan on locating, building their own project and moving almost next door to their own building. So they're very excited about this project. They look forward to having this thing move forward. Scott did a great job and getting us approved. So I guess all we need is a zone change now, and we're good to go. So if you have any questions for me.
No, 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 thank you very much, sir. Thank you for being here.
We look forward to your good decision tonight. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Any other speakers, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. I invite the clerk to read the title of the ordinance, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Victorville adopting the zone change portion of case number PLAN 22-00027, a zone change to rezone approximately 1.52 acres of general commercial C2 designated land to Industrial Park District IPD designated land on property located at the northwest corner of Dos Palmas Road and Park Avenue.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'm going to invite a motion.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we adopt staff's recommendations from items 1 through 4 for Item one.
Item,
I second.
okay. Any comments on the pending motion? Councilmember Irving,
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Harriman?
Yeah, good job, Tom. Another great design there. That's gonna look really good right there. Fill in the void. Thank you.
I have none. Madam Clerk, would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes with Councilmember Gomez and Mayor Jones being absent.
We've now taken action to approve the site plan with an environmental exception of the zone change from a C2 general commercial IDP for the wholesale facility on the northwest corner of Los Palmas and Park Avenue. Resolution adopt 23-099. Public hearing number 2, development of impact fees and changes, annual review, master fee schedule, implementation policy, and capital improvement plan. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. The California Mitigation Fee Act allows for the charge of one-time fees to new development to assist that development in mitigating or offsetting impacts associated with the development. Examples of impacts caused by new development could be the demand created, as an example, by that new development for new parks, new police stations, large capital improvements. And so with that, the DIF program, or Development Impact Fee Program, effectively serves as a collection mechanisms to help offset the costs of actually constructing those facilities at the time when the city is prepared to construct those. And so this council will recall back in June of 2022, that we approved a new DIF study, and that was a new DIF study that had been approved after many years of not having visited and reviewed the DIF program. This item, as provided for in the adoption of the resolution at that time, allows for the city to review the annual DIF program and determine the appropriateness in updating the projects on the list, but also analyzing the California Construction Index, which is like a CPI, to determine if it's appropriate and necessary to at least adjust the fees to keep up with the inflationary costs. This item does recommend the addition of a CCI, California Construction Index of 4.57 to all the development impact fees but the residential, so just the commercial and the industrial components. And so with that, this item also does add some additional projects to the project list. And so with that, you have a much better detail that's outlined by the author of this item, which is your Deputy City Manager, Ms. Janelle Davidson, and she's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
The Honorable City Council and Victorville Water District Board of Directors open and conduct the public hearing, close the public hearing, adopt resolution numbers 23-100 and VWD 23-15, adopting an updated master fee schedule for non-residential DIF and capacity charges, City Council Policy Number CP 23-02, to establish guidelines for implementation, superseding any prior resolutions and policies related to the same, and the associated capital improvement plan.
Thank you very much. At this time, any technical questions from our council members? Councilmember Harriman?
I have none. I've discussed that at length with our city manager. I have no questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Irving?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
And I don't have any questions. So at this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody wishing to speak?
No, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Then at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing. At this time, I invite a motion.
I move to approve staff recommendation.
I'll
I second that.
Either or.
Okay.
Any comments on the pending motion, Mr. Herman?
I have none.
Councilmember Irving?
I just want to clarify that we are approving, 0.3, correct?
No, item 3 or item 2?
Item 2.3, yes, ma'am. Okay,
Yes.
very good. No discussion. Thank you.
And I have nothing. Madam Clerk, can you please take the vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes with Councilmember Gomez and Mayor Jones being absent.
We've now taken action to approve the developmental impact fees and changes annual review, master fee schedule, implementation policy and capital improvement plan, adopt resolution number 23-100 and VWD 23-015. Moving on to public hearing for number 3, the update of the master user fee schedule. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. Similar to the previous item, back in June of 2022, we actually completed the review of all of our city-wide fees, user fees, effectively. And as a part of that review and evaluation, we did adopt a new set of fees, which also contemplated the annual review in forthcoming years of those fees to determine if the fees are still in fact appropriate, if they need to be updated, and if they need to be increased to help keep up with inflationary costs. As a part of this first annual review of the master user fees, we did identify a CPI of 3.29% that's being recommended as the adjustment to the cost associated with the services that are underlying in the fees. And then we also identified a few additional charges that weren't contemplated in the fee study, which were actually outlined in your staff report. So with that, this item has been co-authored by both deputy city managers, Ms. Janelle Davidson and Ms. Sophie Smith, and they're available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council and Victorville Water District Board of Directors open and conduct the public hearing, close the public hearing, and adopt resolution numbers 23-101 and VWD 23-016, amending the master user fee schedule by adjusting certain user fees based on the Consumer Price Index.
Thank you very much. At this time, technical question from our council. Councilmember Irving?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Harriman?
I have none.
And I have none. At this time, I'm gonna open up the public hearing. Madam Mayor, Madam Clerk, do we have anybody wishing to speak?
I just thought I got a promotion. We have none, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna close the public hearing. At this time, I invite a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt staff's recommendations for item 3 or point 3.
Second.
Comments on the pending motion?
No comments.
None.
Madam Clerk, would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes with Councilmember Gomez and Mayor Jones being absent.
We've now taken action to approve the updates to the master user fee schedule and adopt resolution number 23-101 and VWD 23-016. At this time, we're going to move on to the consent calendars for items 4 through 13. Anybody have any questions or comments on this?
No, ma'am.
I have none.
This time I invite a motion.
Move to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll say
Second.
either or. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes with Councilmember Gomez and Mayor Jones being absent.
We've now taken action in accordance with the recommendations as set forth on the agenda. Under written communications.
Appointment of the mayor.
Okay. This time, we're going to move on to the appointment of the mayor. Madam City Clerk, would you please introduce this item?
Nominations are in order for office of the mayor. While nominations do not require a second, any member may offer one to signal endorsement and may also vote for him or herself. This time I'll open the nomination period. Are there nominations for the office of mayor?
Madam Clerk, I'd like to nominate Liz Becerra for mayor.
Do you accept the nomination?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Thank you.
Are there any further nominations? Once again, are there any further nominations? Hearing no further nomination, the nomination period is closed and we'll proceed to appoint a mayor. When called upon, please vote by stating the nominee's name you wish to hold the office. Councilmember Harriman,
Councilwoman Becerra,
Councilmember Irving,
Liz Becerra.
Mayor Pro Tem Becerra.
Myself.
There is a majority vote for Mayor Pro Tem Becerra to be appointed as mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to move to item 15, memorandum of understanding with the Victor Elementary School District for one additional school resource officer. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
That took you a minute to say, huh?
Take a little,
Changed your tone.
gonna take some time to get used to.
Oh, it did. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Yes, this item is brought to you as a fulfillment of the request by the Victor Elementary School District to add one additional school resource officer to our memorandum of understanding that we have with them, which is a document we rely on to memorialize our relationship with them for the provision of SROs. Currently, the Victor Elementary School District has three SROs assigned to them. This item would actually, if approved by the council, authorize the addition to a fourth SRO. As a part of the request, it's been advised to us by the school district that this SRO would largely be responsible for helping satisfy the elementary school district's need to have an SRO available for hours that extend beyond their normal class day, beyond 2 o'clock, basically to a period of time from 2 to 4, 2 to 5. Not recalling the exact period of time, but mainly to accommodate or have deputy presence available to them to accommodate their after-school program needs. And so with that, to facilitate the request as quickly as possible, I must point out that to actually satisfy this request, we are actually utilizing one of the approved sworn deputies on the city's Schedule A, assigning a city assigned deputy to the SRO program, and we'll actually, as a part of the upcoming fiscal budget, then add an additional body to the Schedule A, therefore making up for basically the vacancy that's created on the city's side of the collective schedule. So with that, this actually does create a net benefit in terms of the cost to the city for police services. Effectively, this amount of $154,000, which is identified as a fiscal impact, that'll effectively serve as a increase in revenue to the city's general fund. So with that, this item has been authored by me, but the real work behind it has been performed by my assistant to the city manager, Mr. Tony Camargo. He's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That your honorable city council approve the memorandum of understanding MOU by and between the city of Victorville and the Victor Elementary School District, VESD, for one additional school resource officer. Authorize the city manager or his designee to process all documents required for the agreement and approve resolution 23-103, amending the annual budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 for increased revenues in the amount of $154,102.85 for such agreement.
Thank you, ma'am. This time, we're going to take technical questions from our council members. Mr. Harriman,
I have none.
Councilwoman Irving,
I don't have any. Thank you, ma'am.
and I don't have anything at this time. At this time, I invite a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt staff's recommendations.
Second.
Any comments on this motion?
No comments, Madam.
No comments.
I have none either. At this time, Madam Clerk, could you please take the vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes,
Motion passes with Councilmembers Gomez and Jones being absent.
we've now taken action to approve the memorandum of understanding with Victor Elementary School District for one additional school resource officer and adopt resolution number 23-103. 16, extension of the sunset date for certain temporary fees, penalty waivers for animal care and control pursuant to section 7.04.055 of chapter 7.04, title 7 of the Victorville Municipal Code. Mr. Metzler, would you kindly introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. On June sixth, 2023, the city council adopted urgency ordinance number 2439 and ordinance number 2440 to temporarily suspend certain animal licensing and shelter impound fees to incentivize animal owners to license, vaccinate, microchip, and reclaim the stray cats and dogs and ease economic hardship. These measures were taken to help avoid overcrowding and unhealthy conditions from developing in the city's temporary animal shelter and permit lost pets to be more quickly reunited with their owners. You'll recall earlier this year, we had to quickly react to having been advised that the business that we relied on for many, many years to provide sheltering services for the city was closing down. And so since that time, and that was approximately April of this year. And since that time, we've effectively been operating two temporary shelter facilities, one located on Amargosa Road and then the other being on Palmdale. We've been operating that way where we've ultimately built a capacity to handle or house 141 animals. We do have a plan to build a more permanent facility, increasing the capacity. But until we're able to do that, we have a need to extend the sunset date for the temporary suspension of those fees. And in large part, what that has offered us is a much easier opportunity for residents or individuals to actually adopt our animals at no low cost, and therefore freeing up space for the additional animals that we do take on just in our daily course of business. So effectively, this item is believed necessary to help better serve our need to try to keep space available in the interim shelter until we have more space available at the permanent animal shelter. So with that, this item has been authored, by your code enforcement official, Mr. George Duran. He's in the audience here and available for any questions or comments you might have.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the Honorable City Council adopt resolution number 23-102, extending the sunset date of certain temporary fee and penalty waivers associated with the licensing and impoundment of dogs and cats in the city to June 30th, 2024, pursuant to section 7.04.055 of chapter 7.04, title 7 of the Victorville Municipal Code.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, technical questions from the city council members. Councilmember Herring,
I have none.
Councilmember Irving,
No questions.
and I just have a comment. Mr. Metzler, kudos to you and your team on this. They've been doing more pop-ups and pop-ups. I've been seeing them around town and everything. Congratulations to the teams. Tell the animal care and control crew, thank you.
I will, and I think it's important to note, and hopefully it's seen not only by you, but the public, that the team that we have assigned to this, they're having a tremendous amount of fun taking on this responsibility and adopting out the animals to responsible new owners. So thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. At this time, I'm going to invite a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to adopt staff's recommendations.
Second.
Any comments on the pending motion?
No
I have
comments.
none.
Madam Clerk, will you take a vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes,
Motion passes with Councilmembers Gomez and Jones being absent.
thank you. We've now taken action to approve the extension of the sunset date for certain temporary fees and penalty waivers for animal care and control pursuant to section 7.04.55 of chapter 7.04, title 7 of the Victorville Municipal Code. Adopt resolution number 23-102. Item 17, possible cancellation of the regular city council meeting on January 2nd, 2024. Mr. Metzler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. With the upcoming holiday, Christmas and New Year's, we do routinely shut down for the holidays. And this year, we'll begin our holiday shutdown starting this Friday. And effectively, we won't be returning until January 2nd. And so with staff not being available here at work to attend to an agenda, it's going to be impossible to actually put together an agenda for that January 2nd meeting. And so with that, we respectfully request the cancellation of that meeting, and we'll resume at the next regularly scheduled meeting in January.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
Any action is at the discretion of the city council.
Thank you very much. At this time, technical questions from the city council members. Councilmember Harriman,
I have none.
Councilmember Irving,
No technical questions.
and I have none. This time I'll invite a motion.
I move to, cancel the regular city council meeting, for January 2nd, 2024.
Second.
We have any comments and questions on the pending motion?
No, ma'am.
Comment. Everybody have a Merry Christmas while they're off.
Don't forget a prosperous New Year.
Prosperous New Year, shout all of us. Madam Clerk, would you please take the vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes,
Motion passes with Councilmembers Gomez and Jones being absent.
we've now taken action to approve the cancellation of the regular city council meeting on January 2nd, 2024. Item 18, appointments to the city committees, local appointments list. Mr. Metzler, would you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Annually, we're required to, per the policy manual, to review our committees list, determine if there's any vacancies, and also make appointment as to those that are positions appointed by this council that are for a one-year term. And so as a function of that review, your city clerk has identified one vacancy that exists on the CSAC committee, as we call it. That's the Community Services Advisory Committee, and that there is a vacancy that is that of the mayor's appointment. And so there is a vacancy there that could be considered by this council. Also, we have two committees, standing committees, the Audit Committee, along with the CPD, the Community Planning and Development Grants Committee. They're the ones that review the CDBG awards every year. And those two committees are annual committees. They're currently occupied by Councilmember Jones and Mayor Becerra, both respectively. And so this item is identifying a need to also make appointments to those two committees. So with that, I'll yield back to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Metzler. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
That the city council accept nominations from Mayor Becerra for her vacant Community Services Advisory Committee member and open nominations for the Audit Committee and the Community Planning and Development Grants Subcommittee, as these committees require the city council to designate two members of the city council every year to serve on the committee.
Okay, Madam Clerk, at this time, do we have any applications for that committee?
I don't have any current applications for the CSAC committee.
Mr. Metzler, can we put something on the website and maybe invite over the holidays anybody who'd like to apply for that?
We can begin a solicitation for the CSAC, yes.
Thank you very much.
I,
Do we?
I-
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
Can I hunt one down and recommend?
Yes.
Okay,
Fill it out.
I'm gonna get right on it.
Do we, Mr. Dobranowski, do we need to take a vote on that, or no, it's, since it's,
Right now, no, you're not. You're not voting for anybody specifically, so I think the direction is to the mayor, to the city manager to go out and solicit more interest in that.
Okay.
As well as to Councilmember Harriman.
okay, thank you very much. So then at this time, we'll move on to which board, Madam Clerk, would you like to take first?
Audit Committee.
Okay. Councilmember Irving or Councilmember Harriman, would either one of you like to be on the audit committee?
I'll accept the nomination.
I nominate both Councilmember Irving and Councilmember Harriman to the audit committee.
That would require a vote.
Madam Clerk, could you please take the vote on that? Well, wait a minute, I need a second.
Need a second, yeah.
Second.
Okay, now I have a first and a second. Any comments on the pending motion? No
No.
comments? No comment?
I have no comment.
Madam Clerk, would you please take the vote on the
Audit Committee.
audit committee? Thank you.
Councilmember Harriman,
I accept.
you approve the nomination for both
I
yourself
do
and Member
approve,
Irving?
Yes.
Member Irving?
You want me to state the names?
No, you could just
I-
say
Okay, very good. Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes on both of the candidates.
Motion passes for Councilmember Harriman and Councilmember Irving to be on the Audit Committee, with Councilmember Gomez and Jones being absent.
Okay. Madam Clerk, do we have the next one?
The Community Planning and Development Grants Subcommittee.
This is for the CDBG, and this is the one I am on, right? Myself?
Correct.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to nominate, you, the mayor, and Councilman Harriman.
I accept the nomination.
I accept.
This,
The
Yeah.
second on the motion.
Second.
go. Any comments on the pending motion?
No.
I have none.
I have none. Madam Clerk, would you take the vote on that one, please?
Councilmember Harriman,
I accept.
you approve the
I
nomination for
approve the
yourself.
nomination of Councilwoman Irving and myself.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes with council members Gomez and Jones being absent to appoint council members Harriman and Irving. No, sorry, Harriman and Becerra to the CPD Grant Committee.
There we go. Is that the last one, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. We now have taken action relative to appointments of city committees, local appointments only. Item 19, provision of the city council policy CP-12-01, expense reimbursement policy. Mr. Metzler, would you like to tee up this item, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. At the meeting of November 7th, there was a request by the council to visit council policy CP-12-01. And there was two requests by the council where it requested staff to review that policy and first address a need to increase meal allowance associated with travel to conference type functions. But then also the council separately asked for a wholesale review of that policy and update it as staff deemed necessary. And so staff has done that. We've actually reviewed that policy and attached for your review to make the review easy. We've actually attached a red line to that currently existing policy to show the suggested and recommended changes. And so with that, unless there's any questions of staff, the author on this item is your city clerk, Ms. Jennifer Thompson. She's available for any questions or comments you might have.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
Any action is at the discretion of your honorable city council.
Thank you very much. technical questions from the city council? Councilmember Irving,
No questions.
Councilmember Harriman,
No questions.
and I have none. At this time, I'm going to invite a motion.
I move to adopt staff's recommendations.
I'll second.
Any comments on the pending motion? Member Irving?
No, thank you.
No.
I have none.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
the staff recommendation was any action is at the discretion of your honorable city council. Is your action to adopt CP 12 revisions to CP 1201, which is now CP 2303?
Thank you for the clarification. Yes.
Thank you.
At this time, can you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes with Councilmembers Gomez and Jones being absent.
We've now taken action to approve the revisions to City Council Policy CP 12-01, Expense Reimbursement Policy. Item 20, discussion and possible action regarding returning to the Interagency Council on Homelessness. Councilmember Irving, since this is your item, would you like to introduce it, or shall we pass it on to Mr. Metzler?
Well, I'll take it. I asked that this come back to the council for discussion and possible action. Because we have now opened our wellness center, I think that puts us it poises us in a particular position to be leaders, particularly in the high desert. And I think, and also in San Bernardino County, I understand that we spend a lot of time on this, working with this particular, agency. However, I think that we should entertain returning because we're really not in the business of addressing homelessness solutions. And I think if we're at the table with this interagency council, I think that would inform our practices as we move forward. So that was my position. I understand that perhaps Mr. Metzler, you and Ms. Smith are not available. We need you here always. But perhaps there's someone else on staff that you could appoint or designate to participate. And this is not part of the language here, but I would be interested in hearing what's going on a quarterly basis as it relates to what's happening in the county as they address homelessness, or we collectively join together. So that is why I asked that this be put on the agenda. And so I am moving that we return to the Interagency Council on Homelessness.
Okay. Mr. Metzler, would you like to add anything further before we take the motion?
Nothing further to add. I mean, we did analyze the request and shared some insight in the staff report. And I think it's important to note that despite not sitting on the board or having a board seat, in fact, I'm not even sure that there's one available. It's possible that they filled the seat that we occupied. We still do attend, and so reporting back is not hard for us to do, both at the ICH level and even at the Desert Steering Regional Committee level. I do see us as leaders in this space of providing homelessness solutions. I'm not so convinced that ICH yet is a leader. I think we're further along. And so a large part of the recommendation previously to withdrawal had more to do with us being able to advance initiatives much sooner than we could rely on them to advance initiatives. However, that notwithstanding, certainly it's within the prerogative of the council, and if the council would like to continue on, certainly we would follow that direction. But nothing has caused us to believe that they're better equipped than us at this point to advance Victorville's homelessness-related initiatives.
It's a lot of confidence. Thank you. Well, nevertheless, I have a motion on the floor if no one,
Can- Did she read the recommendation?
I'm
That's why I was gonna hold you right there. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
Any action is at the discretion of the Honorable City Council.
Okay, now, technical questions from our council member? Councilmember Harriman?
It's my understanding these people are difficult to work with, and, so, after discussing this with the city manager, I just don't think it's worthy of our, partnership, especially when we've got so much going on at the wellness center, and the city manager just said, I believe we're the leaders in the homeless, cause, in the high desert, and I don't see us slowing down. So, those are my comments.
Thank you. I appreciate your position, Member Harriman. Nevertheless, I move that we return to the Interagency Council on Homelessness.
Is there a second on the motion? No second? Motion dies. So now we have taken action to deny returning to the Interagency Council on Homelessness. Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to move to item 21, consideration of proposed city council resolution number 23-104, adopting revisions to the City of Victorville City Council Policy and Procedure Manual regarding annual city council reorganization procedure. Councilmember Irving, would you like to introduce this item?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. At the last council meeting, I asked that this item be brought back with language that would address an equity, or I would say a structural bias in policy as it relates to how we appoint the mayor. And so in response to that, I asked you all to consider bringing back new language for discussion and possible action. And so at this time, I'm open to questions, but the language that is before us tonight, to me, it sustains the structural bias that I was addressing. So for the policy that stands right now. And so I have a few amendments that I would like us to consider as we move forward. So I don't know how you want to move forward, but I'm prepared to move to amend by striking some language and adding or inserting some different language.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Metzler if he has anything else to add.
No, I'll just summarize, of course, what's here before you. And of course, this was authored by your city attorney, Mr. Andre Dvornowski, and with him having taken the lead in drafting this item, he also took some initiative to incorporate some suggested language in the policy manual. And for ease of review, that suggested language has been redlined in the document. And I think largely you see the suggested changes on pages 540 and 541. And so with that, that was your city attorney's effort to bring this item back based upon your request at the last meeting. And so with that, I'll either yield back to you, Madam Mayor, and unless there's something further the city attorney would like to add.
Mr. Dvornowski?
Thank you, Mayor Becerra. Yes, I drafted the language similar to the way this was considered back in 2019. At that time, we had very similar provisions in there to basically provide for the change of a mayor after 2 consecutive terms. And at that point, it was done in the subsequent organizational meeting. That's obviously up to the discretion of the council. I will note also on the recommendation that the recommendation is to adopt. It actually should say to consider adoption. And then the second issue is that in the language, we have a provision now that would require, in the event there's no consensus on the vote of the mayor, that the mayor pro tem would automatically fill the position of the mayor to the extent we went throughout four rounds of voting. So it's written that way. The way it's written right now, it would be effective as of the organizational meeting of 2024, but that's up to your discretion as to how you want to handle that. If you wanted to make it effective immediately, that's obviously within your prerogative. I will note there are a couple of nuances here that, and maybe these can get cleaned up as part of the policy manual considerations, I think, which we will be doing in March, and that is, there's a situation right now where I think we should have it clear that the mayor vote should take place before we actually get to the mayor pro tem, so that we don't have a situation where the council's making a vote pro tem, and if these provisions are adopted, the mayor pro tem would then automatically assume the position of the mayor. That's just, I think, something that should get clarified. But again, it's totally up to the discretion of the council how you want to proceed.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
Any action is at the discretion of the Honorable City Council.
Thank you. Now at this time, technical questions of council. Councilmember Harriman?
Okay. I want to make sure I understand all this right. Okay, so, Ms. Irving,
Yes,
you're, asking that the mayor can only serve 2 consecutive terms,
correct.
and then they relinquish,
Well, they don't relinquish.
well,
Yeah.
they're only eligible for 2 consecutive terms, and then they can possibly be the mayor again following 1 term not being the mayor.
That's correct, but they can continue to hold the position if they achieve 2/3 votes of the council.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, thank you
Right.
okay. And then, I just want to make sure I understand it all right. And then, on the other aspect of it, if we can't come to consensus, the sitting mayor pro tem would take the responsibility as the mayor until the next meeting, where we will try to come to consensus and elect or appoint a mayor? Am I understanding that correctly? Okay,
They will assume the position. And I say that because they have been appointed or elected by the council.
okay. I'm reading something, I'm just not understanding it.
Okay.
I thought, it was mentioned that with no consensus, the mayor pro tem would temporarily be appointed the mayor until we can, at another meeting, come to consensus.
Okay,
I misunderstand?
yes, and let me explain, as the policy sets now, as if we cannot reach a consensus, the mayor would continue to serve in the position because we could not reach a consensus. And so what I'm saying is, as long as there's what I'm saying is, it seems structurally biased that if someone is appointed 1 year, they potentially, as long as we didn't reach consensus, could sit there indefinitely as long as we have a split council. It would not rotate.
Well, I agree that 2 terms is sufficient.
Yes.
So I like that aspect of it. I think my my not understanding was the second aspect to it. And that, do you want to elaborate? I
Well,
want to make sure I got it.
let's consider the scenario. The
Okay.
scenario is, let's just, what's happening here. Last meeting, we could not reach consensus. And so at the next regular board meeting, or the council meeting, which would be today, if we were unable to reach consensus, the sitting mayor would continue for a new term.
That's the way we've been doing it,
That is the way the policy is.
is now. Okay,
I propose to change it because I said, or I believe that the role is meant to rotate, where every person has an opportunity. Not necessarily they will, but they have an opportunity to participate, to serve as mayor. That's what I said. But structurally, if we couldn't reach consensus amongst each other, the person that serves as mayor would continue.
okay.
And so therefore, unity for the person that's sitting there, they have no real interest in making sure we reach consensus.
so when you say rotational, we're not saying everybody must sit as the mayor at one.
Your time is up.
I motion to grant Councilmember Harriman 2 additional minutes so he can finish his questions.
I second that.
Madam Clerk, if you could take the vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
Yes.
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes with council members Gomez and Jones being absent.
So it doesn't mean that everyone gets to be the mayor,
It does not mean that everyone gets to be,
because that's,
but it encourages rotation.
yes.
Right.
Yes, okay.
I hope
So-
I made myself clear.
No, I just wanted to clarify that because, and I'll probably take a little heat for this, but there is a colleague that I cannot ever vote for as mayor. So I just want to make sure that we're not granting.
That's not what's on the table.
Okay, I just, that's my clarification. Thank you, Ms. Irving.
You're very welcome.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to note that I misread the recommendation, so I'd like to reread the recommendation correctly.
Sure, go ahead.
That the Honorable City Council review and consider the proposed revised City Council Policy and Procedure Manual and adopt resolution number 23-104.
And I had reference that should be to consider adoption.
Consider adoption.
Okay. I have no questions, so at this time, I'm gonna ask Mrs. Irving to state the motion that she would like.
Before, point of information, Mr. Debanowski, the language that is before us, it says with respect to council member terms, the following provisions shall apply. Should that read mayor term, the mayoral term? 540.
Yeah, probably should specifically refer to the mayor and mayor pro tem.
Okay.
Actually, it just shouldn't be mayoral.
Okay, well, Madam Mayor, may I make my motion? Okay, I move to amend, the language before us in pertinent part to strike, with respect, I don't want to strike with respect to strike council member terms, insert, mayoral terms. The following provisions shall, apply. In no event shall a mayor serve no more than 2 consecutive terms. I move to amend and strike for his or her term of office and insert irrespective of his or her term of office as council member, unless additional service is granted by 2/3 vote, affirmative vote of the entire council membership. In addition, the limitation applies continuously across the terms of office, counting any partial term of office as mayor towards this limit.
Did we get all that?
I know it's a mouthful.
And then, did you want to address the effective date, or are you okay with that language?
I think it stands, it's appropriate, it's reasonable.
I'll second what she said. At this time, any comments on the pending motion?
No,
Mr. Harriman?
Yeah, what would the effective date be? I've lost that on the,
This will then occur at the next organizational meeting of 2024, since you've already now elected a new mayor.
so next year.
Correct, which is December, typically December.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And I have no questions. Madam Clerk, can you please take the vote?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes.
Councilmember Irving,
yes,
Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes with council members Gomez and Jones being absent.
We've now taken action to approve the City Council Resolution number 23-104
As amended.
As amended.
as amended. For the City Council Policy and Procedural Manual regarding annual City Council reorganization procedure. Yes, ma'am? Item 22, city council benefits. I'm gonna ask Mr. Metzler to tee this up, and then if I have any comments, then I will.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Since approving this item for discussion and possible action, staff has been made aware of an inequity that exists among council members directly related to fringe benefits offered to the city council when approving our annual benefits resolutions. As our benefits resolution currently reads, all council members are offered $900 as a fringe benefit to be applied to their costs for medical insurance. Council members are allowed to cash out $400 of that $900 if they decline health coverage as an active member of our medical program through CalPERS. In Councilmember Becerra's case, now Mayor Becerra's case, she is not allowed to enroll in our CalPERS benefit program as an active member since she's an actual retiree. Accordingly, Councilmember Becerra has been cashing out the $400 offered to council members despite the fact she is not declining our health benefit coverage. This item has been brought to light in part due to a recent change in Mayor Becerra's out-of-pocket cost for health coverage, having increased due to a change in her family coverage. Altogether, it appears based on our current benefits resolution language, PERS retirees elected to the city council could be treated differently in the benefit being offered despite the members accepting the city's health care allowance. And so if the council is desirous of correcting this inequity, we as staff can bring back an update to the benefits resolution at a council meeting to read similar to the language that's actually suggested in the staff report. That notwithstanding, this item has been authored by Deputy City Manager Sophie Smith, along with Human Resources Officer Josie Trevino. They can speak to this in much better detail than I can. I'll yield back to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you please read the recommendation?
Any action is at the discretion of the Honorable City Council.
Thank you. At this time, technical questions from the city council members. Councilmember Irving?
Yes, just for clarification, I heard everything that you said, Mr. City Manager, but could you once again state the inequity or?
So as it currently stands, all council members are provided an allowance of $900. And that $900 allowance can be applied by the council member to pay for their medical costs. And on top of that, you're enrolled as an active member in our CalPERS benefits program. And I've got to underscore active because that's an important part that creates this inequity that we've identified. In the event you choose not to utilize as an active member the full $900 to offset your medical costs, you do have the ability to cash out at a rate of $400. What's been discovered in Councilmember Becerra's case is because she's a PERS retiree, she's not allowed to enroll as an active member to the CalPERS benefit program because she's already classified as a retiree. She can't be classified as both a retiree and as an active member. And so therefore, the way the current language reads, she's been cashing out at the $400, though she's not declining our health coverage. As it currently stands for active members to cash out at the $400, you'd have to decline our health coverage. She's trying to actually use it, but she's not getting the full benefit that the other council members are getting.
I understand. So what's on the table is we are discussing rectifying that language or so that she's able to enjoy the same benefits as the other council members.
Yeah, I would say her, and this could be applicable to any future council person that happens to be a PERS retiree.
PERS or STIRS too?
STIRS, I believe,
No,
would not be treated the same.
Oh, okay, but PERS. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Harriman?
I think I get it. No questions.
Thank you, and I have none. Being that I, the one that asked for this, the only thing I asked for a motion to approve staff's recommendation, making it effective July, when we adopted policy
In,
or budget, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, if I might, and so this is another one of those items that basically provides any, action at your discretion, but, if the council was, in agreement with, what I just, outlined, the best recommendation I could offer would then be to direct staff to bring back, at a future council meeting, at the soonest possible future council meeting, to amend the currently adopted benefits resolution to reflect the language that's suggested in this staff report.
And
Thank you. That
Mayor
is my vote.
Sarah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you did anything more than that, then you'd have an issue of recusing yourself. So what Mr. Metzler is recommending would make sense to bring it back at a future meeting.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'm sorry, I need to stand corrected. The actual language is, the suggested language is actually, incorporated in this staff report. It's highlighted in yellow for you to see.
Okay. So what,
I second.
there we go. Is that fine, sir?
Well, that's a little concerning. If you vote to adopt this policy at this point, you would have a conflict of interest because you're going to receive a financial benefit from
Can I
this.
recuse myself then?
Problem is, then we lose a quorum.
Okay,
So, best, I would suggest you either move this to the next meeting when you have a quorum. Concerned with you voting on adopting the policy at this point.
there you go. Thank you.
I have a question. If the council were to vote on what I suggested, which is basically bring this item back as a revised, as a revision to the existing benefits resolution, is that acceptable? I don't necessarily see that as,
That would be okay. At that point, Council or Mayor Becerra could recuse herself and not participate in any vote on that.
at that time.
Correct.
Okay. I ask for that to be motion.
Second.
Any comments on the pending motion? Councilmember Irving?
The only thing is, you said the benefits, what, sir? Just clarify.
It's called the benefits resolution.
Resolution, very good. Thank you very much. Okay.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes,
Do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, can you take the vote, please?
Councilmember Harriman,
Yes,
Councilmember Irving, Mayor Becerra.
Yes.
Motion passes with Councilmembers Gomez and Jones being absent.
So the action we've had, we're going to ask staff to bring it back as a resolution change to the organizational board next meeting of January? Yes, sir? 19th, 18th?
January 19th.
19th. There we go. Moving right along. Item 23, Mr. Metzler, City Manager reports, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. I actually emailed this to you as well. It includes the development activity report, so you can see specifically what's occurring in town and what staff is working on. But on the planning side of the house, all 82 interim shelter clients were successfully transferred from the West Wind Sports Center to the new housing accommodations at the West Wind Center. So great progress made there. On the environmental program side of the house, all residents have received their new green organics bin for single-family homes. That's over 32,000 bins that were distributed just this month alone. We do have Christmas tree recycling information in that Christmas tree recycling will begin for residents starting January 2nd through the 12th on the regular trash pickup days. On the on the code enforcement and animal control side, Animal Care and Control did have a successful Happy Holidays event. Guys are good. All right. They're trying to embarrass me up here, I
So
think.
you need to read these first.
Holidays. I love it. Holidays event this past weekend, and 12 animals were adopted. So we're having some amazing success at our animal adoption program. The team there is doing some really, really good work. Home for the Holidays pet adoptions are taking place all this week at the Animal Adoption Center on Amargosa Road. So don't let 2023 slip away without your furry family member. And then community services side, City Hall, Hook Community Center and the library will be closing beginning December 22nd, and they'll reopen, and the closure will be through January 1st. we'll actually reopen the library on the 2nd of January. On the building side, couple of items, Arby's on US Highway 395, that's in pre-final inspection, and that passed the final inspection on the 19th. So that's moving forward. And then we have another car wash on Bear Valley Road, Cottonwood and Mariposa, that's moving forward. I think finally, I'll just share with you, and for the public, because I think the council's been tracking this. Last week at the Victor Valley High School District Board of Directors meeting, they actually approved a lease agreement involving themselves and the city, where they agreed to lease us the property that we had formerly called Goodwill High School. And so that facility, which is right next door to Evadale Park and very close to our wellness center, that location will be taken on by the city. We've been doing some preliminary planning, laying that facility out. That is a location that's envisioned to be a larger, more permanent animal shelter facility. So while we've been scrambling and working on an interim solution with the two sites at Amargosa and Palmdale, we do have a clear path forward to start up a more permanent shelter, a much larger facility for our animals. So that lease document is on my desk. I'll be signing those tonight, and we'll be proceeding towards transitioning that facility. Finally, we do intend to give the council a presentation at the January 19th meeting to show you a little bit more about what we're envisioning at that property. So with that, that's all I have at this time, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Item 24, discussion and possible action regarding upcoming agenda items. Councilmember Harriman, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
Councilmember Irving?
No, ma'am, thank you.
I do. Can we, and help me here, Mr. Dubernowski, can we put on, is it the 18th or the 19th?
Oh, we're all wrong. I'm being told now it's the 16th.
The 16th.
Hang on, let me get
Can
the
we
calendar.
please bring it back to the 16th of January for Mayor Pro Tem vote?
Yes, that would probably be automatic in any case, since that position is vacant at this point. So we will put the Mayor Pro Tem vacancy on the agenda first meeting in January.
There we go. And I have nothing. Thank you. Item 25, reports or comments from city council members. Let's start with Member Harriman.
Allison and I had a great time at the Christmas party. It was a good time. I'm gonna give Ms. Irving some problems here because I had my wife all teed up to dance with her. So you bad girl.
Okay.
Anyways, it was a great time, everybody. That's all I have.
Thank you. Member Irving?
Well, yes, first things first, I want to apologize to Miss Allison Harriman. Let her know that, I still have my boogie shoes, so no need to worry. The other thing I want to do is I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And lastly, I would like to congratulate Mayor Becerra. I look forward to working with you, ma'am. I think that you are going to be an outstanding mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll slow down, but thank you. Okay, it'll take a minute. All right.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I don't want to. The dancing thing got me all distracted.
I was distracted. And I would just like to thank Mr. Metzler, to you and your staff, Ms. Smith, Ms. Davidson, and Captain Wickham over there. Don't think I didn't remember you over there. Thank you to your staff. Fire chief is in here, right? Okay. To you and your staff, even the fire chief, everything they do for our city on a day-to-day basis. You guys make our city for what it is. You make it safe, and you bring us here every day. So thank you very much. To your management staff, thanks, guys. Try to get you out of here early. At least you'll have dinner and not a midnight snack. Thank you very much for all you do. To the public, thank you very much for coming. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and God bless everybody. Thank you. And at this time, we are adjourned, right? There we go.